I'm that girl who wants to tell New Zealand, hold the line. Oh, what an extraordinary week we have had so far here. And I know that this is not a unique experience and situation for just our country. I know that this is happening and occurring to many other profound countries where there is profound unity and communities coming together, like-minded people, to be able to demonstrate with peace what their thoughts and sentiments are about the current climate in terms of mandates and the overreach from governments. So welcome, my friends, back. It was an extraordinary day yesterday, that's for sure. And as I want to share with you my journey, I keep asking my teams, is this really what I need to be sharing? And they're saying, this is exactly what you need to be sharing. So welcome. Happy Valentine's Day for those people who are still catching up with us. And yesterday was totally full of love. Absolutely. It was an incredible day in many ways. It was incredibly busy also. And so what they want me to share with you is how extraordinary it is and liberating it is to sense and actually really test out the power that the government does actually have on us. And as I was experiencing and witnessing people being brutally arrested in a peaceful demonstration, they were merely sitting, arms linked, saying and singing beautiful songs of freedom and our national anthem, and just saying, we're here for peace, we're here for peace, we are here for peace. Please hear us, we are here for peace, hold the line. Many of those people who were demonstrating and expressing that outwardly to everyone, they were aggressively arrested, and it is seen around the world now in footage. And it's not a proud day for New Zealand, but as we know, from that density, from that horrific experience, exploded out expansion of awareness, and actually people realizing they need to be here. They need to be in Wellington to be able to show that they also agree with everyone that these mandates need to be completed now. They need to be dropped. Just like other places around the world who have dropped their mandates already, New Zealand needs to start taking this seriously and realizing we are the voice, and our officials to represent our voices and not to control and manipulate. We know the bigger stuff. We know what is happening. We know why this is happening. And so anyway, I feel like there is so much that needs to be said. So in my experience yesterday, I was one of the people that was privileged enough to be able to go and escort a few women who chose not to sign the paperwork to say that they had made the offense, they had done an offense, they were guilty. And so they refused to sign the paperwork to be released. And so they were told that they had to sign the papers and then they'd be released. And so I don't quite know all the official terms of it, but they refused to accept why they were falsely arrested. They had these charges against them that are ridiculous, and they didn't want to agree to it. And so they were not complying. And this is an extraordinary thing that a group of women, and it's an extraordinary thing that a group of men were refusing to comply, because they're not prepared anymore to just go with the rules, to comply to this stuff. It's a broken system, and when you're trying to work within a broken system, it doesn't work, does it? Because it's fundamentally broken. And this is part of what needs to be acknowledged and identified with, and that's a perfect example of a broken system. So these women were eventually, after 4 days, released. And so it is extraordinary to see their strength. It is extraordinary to see their connections, their deep connections with each other now, because they have faced their fears, they've faced everyone's fears of being unjustly arrested brutally, and now disconnected from each other and their communities for 4 days in isolations, with very interesting tactics to be able to divulge their identity and to be under duress and express through signature that they were in fact guilty of a crime that they are being charged for. So incredible times. So I got to meet these incredible women who were typical Kiwis, typical mothers, sisters, friends. They have come from all over New Zealand to be able to stand up and say, these mandates aren't right. Most of them are profound professionals in their own rights, love their jobs, love what they're trained for, love what they do, and yet because they didn't comply, they have been made unemployed. What do you do with people when you have made them unemployed for something that doesn't make common sense? Incredible opportunity. And so what I had been thinking previously, knowing that these women were being detained, and I just keep thinking, what is the metaphysical perspective of this? What is the bigger perspective? Who are these people? Why are they here? And I started feeling into the possibilities of why these people were dragged out and why these people are still strong enough to not follow and comply. And so I just checked in with myself to see, trusting it's very significant. And what I have found consistently is when we just ask ourselves these little questions, when we use our free will to ask ourselves these little questions, we get given the answers quite profoundly if we're willing to listen to them and notice that we have been given the answers for that. And so I found myself in an extraordinary situation where I was on Parliament grounds listening to a whole bunch of incredible nurses sharing their stories with us. Very very, very, very heartwarming, touching, extraordinary people, extraordinarily professional, gifted, and truly they've come into their own industry to be able to be of service and help humanity. Gifts to humanity. And now they have been dismissed from their duties. And all of those connections that they have, all of their clients that they have, are now going without them. It's extraordinary, so extraordinary. And of course, we can see it from the 3D and think, oh gosh, that's going to be a hot mess. What are you creating there? And from the metaphysical perspective, we understand and celebrate all of this is to awaken. Fantastic times. I love what they are saying and what they're sharing as well, which is not a threat to the government, but a true statement. Now that we don't work for you, we don't have to comply, including the gag orders that the medical profession have been enforced to say. They see lots of things, my friends, lots and lots and lots of things. And if you speak out, it's taboo. So you're not allowed to speak the truth, and you're not allowed to warn people about certain medicines, certain industries. And it is extraordinary. So now that they're not employed, they're not gagged anymore. So bring it on. The truth always wins, and the truth will always come out. And it would be a lazy assumption to think that it's just the medical industry that have all these secrets. It's all industries. And as I know from my personal experiences with clients around the world who are doctors, who are nurses, who work in the drug industry, I have almost every industry of clients that I get to hear their little insights, their little secrets that they think, oh, this isn't very good. This is naughty here. This doesn't work. This isn't good for humanity. But they just assume that that one little thing is the only thing that is going on. And if we looked at all industries and looked at the naughty little secrets that they have, we would be, displeased. So this is all time for all of these people to start shedding and sharing their truths and exposing all of these back deals, exposing all of this corruption, exposing it all. You've got nothing to lose when you don't have a job in an industry and a government that is not supporting the truth. Truth is a powerful weapon, and I love it so much. And I guess this is the reason why many people are not wanting to hear the voices of people claiming all sorts of nonsense and hiding behind a corrupt media. So fascinating. So anyway, my question was, who are these women? Who are these people who have been dragged out of the crowd to be set an example of, to entice those people who are on the front line to just be so outraged to see just delicate females being brutalized. Wouldn't that make anyone just react in a really angry way? We are supposed to be standing up for each other because we're here for peace. And yet, many of us are being dragged out. Exciting times for the bigger perspective. And so, yes, the police that day were doing the best they could to really break many people's calmness and centeredness and peace to then react and retaliate. And I was speaking to a man who had his ribs broken by the police yesterday. He was saying that the hardest thing wasn't the breaking of his ribs by the policeman. The hardest thing for him as he was holding the line was not retaliating. He is a boxer. He is a trained boxer. He is not a light-footed man. He is a powerhouse. He reminds me of Maui in some regards because of his mana, because of his strength, because he is here to protect. He is here, like many of us, to hold the line. And so his friend, who also got arrested, she was constantly saying out loud, we're here for peace, we're here for peace. Do not engage, we're here for peace, we're here for peace, we're here for peace. And he said that that was the thing that kept reminding him to not start this fight, which obviously they were trying to coerce out of those who were feeling outraged. And this could even happen in a peaceful experience, considering who they were picking out of the line. Extraordinary. Lots and lots of talk therapy when you go down to Parliament and talk to these people. Even those who watched it from home still have a profound experience of some level of trauma and shock, which has made them come and be of service and donate more and support more. And the talking therapy that is going on right now after our government said to not even talk to our neighbors about things, because again, the truth is a very dangerous weapon for those who are trying to hide behind other agendas. And so talking amongst ourselves is a profound thing because we're sharing interesting stuff, like how many people we know have been damaged by vaccines and how many people we know have interestingly died recently, healthy. So it's very interesting times to share our truth, and it is incredible what those conversations are expanding upon. And it's very interesting. I find also for myself those people who I stumble across and start great conversations with, because they're wanting to talk to me about spirituality and the metaphysics, and I just think, yes please, that is one of my favorite topics. So it is extraordinary to hear maybe some different labels, but the same information that we're hearing in sessions, and they're sort of having these own epiphanies right now. The energy on the Parliament grounds is incredibly high, so much so that people have gone to the grounds wanting to protest against these protesters and have had massive epiphanies and now realize they need to be there to support the line too. So it's incredible, and I know that these small stories and examples from here in New Zealand are going to be repeated to different other countries in the same situations. These true, incredible gifts to humanity coming here together, and they all have this one statement that they all say, I was called here, and I wasn't even planning to be here. It was a day event far, far, far away from here. And now I found myself here. And they can't believe it. It was almost like they sort of said it was like they were just guided, they were just called, they were just brought here, as if this was something so much more bigger than they'd ever considered before. And it confuses them while they're here. It confuses them why suddenly they have done something that they would never, ever, ever be bold enough or brave enough to do. And so, of course, we know that they are supposed to be here as big light pillars to profoundly anchor in unity and profoundly anchor in soul families and connections. It's incredible times. So anyway, sorry, haven't got to what I was trying to say. Pardon me, is about so the one woman that so we all got to pick up one woman because supposedly they weren't allowed to go back onto the Parliament grounds according to our fantastic law that is so corrupt right now. So we all went to go and usher them wherever they needed to go. And the lovely woman that I was honored to meet, her and I had the fantastic conversation in our car about her spiritual awakening, which then was so confused and misdiagnosed by medical professionals. And so what I could tap into quite clearly was all her insights. And when you have a faster spiritual awakening, it is not for the faint-hearted, because you get to see all of your other lifetimes. You get to connect in with all your other lifetimes in a really profound way, where you suddenly can start speaking different languages and knowing different things. And so my question to my teams were, and I don't even know if I really addressed it to them, Mr. Subconscious, can you tell me? It was more like, I wonder the significance of these people and why they had to be called out as they were to now be world famous in New Zealand. And so the woman that I got to meet, I instantly could sense that there was something much more about her and the significance of this country. And so when she was just talking, I was sensing into who she truly is. And she wasn't born in New Zealand. And when she came to New Zealand, interesting things happened. When she arrived in New Zealand, our Wellington snowed. Wow, that's not normal. We've never had snow in Wellington. And when she arrived, it started to snow. And she went into a deep depression, what is considered depression. And she couldn't understand it. And she had all the strong epiphanies and strong senses and strong awakenings that really was quite intensive for any average person who doesn't know how to understand other lifetimes, let alone what you're going through. And sometimes it could be, if you shared that with people, a psychotic breakdown. But it is not. It is merely a ripping of the veil at a rapid rate that you get so much information. It's quite scary, because you don't know how to formulate it, and you don't come with a manual. It doesn't come with a manual. And so unfortunately, she was put into some systems where they diagnosed her incorrectly and made her feel like she was losing her mind. And so I got to speak to her about what I was sensing with this. Those people who are here in Wellington now have got a lot of history with New Zealand. And it's not even necessarily this lifetime. And so it is extraordinary who's there holding the line, holding their energy frequency and protecting all of us energetically, and cleansing all of us energetically. And so when you've had other lifetimes where you have felt like you've got either been born into a responsibility, or you're so connected to the land and so connected to the people, you promise them, I will come back in another lifetime when you need me the most. And so when this woman came back to New Zealand and feel the energy, her heart kind of broke. She could sense that her memory from the world and the land and the people that she left once in that lifetime, when she returned, it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. And I guess she needed to understand that, and I'm sure that would have been all part of her life contract to come back. She deeply knows where this land can resonate at a frequency, and she deeply knows how pure her people are. And this is a really hard thing for us, but as we know, when we discovered the density, we know how to expand and to overcome and power through. And so it's extraordinary. It's incredibly extraordinary who she is. And it was wonderful to be able to just confirm with her directly what she was sensing, because she was given the information about the shift too. And when you don't know that anyone else knows the information about this shift, then you pretty much certify yourself as insane, because who could ever think, or who could ever want to think that it would have to get to that point? And so it was extraordinary. And I feel so lucky to have met her, to be able to have this conversation with her, and to deeply understand for myself why she needs to be here now, because she's returning to her people and she's returned to her land. She is a leader. She is incredibly normal and incredibly human too. But she's come here. She was called here to be able to return to her people. She is a natural leader because everyone energetically connects in with her because they know her soul essence from the other lifetimes. So it is extraordinary, so extraordinary. And I don't even know how to even articulate the rest of my day, because it was just so fantastically amazing. And this is what all our lives are going to be like now, until things just keep getting more and more and more and heightened, because we're so incredibly close to things changing. And we wonder if there has to be more denser experiences for that growth. And we know when we've heard about certain events in other countries from sessions, you could say that that's definitely going to be a very dense experience for the expansion of community and connections. All fascinating times, my friends. I just want you to know that just by sitting and sending out love and empowerment, and remembering that you are the ones that are allowing the level of love to come through your life, and you are completely in control of what you do with that energy and what you do with that love. And I ask you to consider, are you holding that frequency energy of love for yourself? Are you raising up your own frequency vibration? And then with that, are you sharing that around the world and loving all? Because we should be able to share the higher frequency that we get given. It's a gift, and we can't hoard it, and we must share it with so much love and so much compassion, as we know that humanity is getting closer and closer and closer to that big shift of evolution. And so while we may think that we're impatient and we've got other things to do, we're here to be of service. And it's very easy to be of service by simply loving, respecting everyone, even those who are not aware of any other agendas, but they're just sick of the mandates, and that they can see discrimination. Even those people who are completely for the government and love the government and all its control and manipulation, and they think it's the best thing since sliced bread, fantastic for you, my friends. But I'm not going to hate you for that. I'm not going to lower my frequency vibrations for you to be matching at your density with much love. I can just send you love, but I will not lower my vibrations for anyone, because I want to be of service the best I can, and I want to hold the line. I love you guys. Have a fantastic day. So much amazing things can happen simply in one day. So many amazing things can simply happen in 1 hour. So use your time wisely.